Hey everyone, Happy New Year! Today we're going to make a full KOPITIAM breakfast but vegan. First off, we're going to make some vegan kaya toast and then we're going to make some vegan soft-boiled eggs. You don't want to miss this. Let's get started. For the kaya, we only need 4 ingredients: coconut cream, starch, pandan leaves and sugar. Into a blender, let's pour in 400 ml of coconut cream. Then we're going to cut 2 pandan leaves and add them in. Blend everything until it's super smooth. Next, let's strain the mix into a pot. If some little flecks of green pass through, it's fine, but if you want it to be super smooth, you can strain it through a muslin cloth or a finer sieve. Have the heat on medium, sprinkle a bit of salt, and then let's add 100 grams of castor sugar. Stir the mix and cook until the sugar has dissolved and the water from the coconut cream has evaporated. It'll reduce by quite a bit. For this vegan version of kaya, we're going to use tapioca starch as a thickener instead of eggs. You can also use cornstarch if you want, but tapioca starch will give a nice glossy finish and a slightly different texture. Mix the starch with some coconut milk and then let's pour it into our pot. Quickly stir the mix, making sure to scrape the edges down. It will thicken very fast and we don't want it to clump. Once the kaya is quite thick, turn off the heat and it's ready to use. Slice some white bread into thick pieces and toast until nice and golden. Then scoop a generous amount of kaya and spread it on our toast. Just like at the KOPITIAM, put little pieces of vegan butter or margarine on the toast and then sandwich the 2 pieces together. And there you have it, vegan kaya toast. Now let's move on to the other half of a KOPITIAM breakfast, soft-boiled eggs but vegan. First, let's make the vegan egg yolk. We want the yolk to be rich and fatty with a nice creamy mouthfeel. For that, we're going to use cashew nuts. Measure out 25 grams of cashew nuts and soak in boiling water for 20 minutes. To give the vegan egg yolk some color and a hint of sweetness, we're going to use some carrots. We're just going to need about 1/3 of a carrot or about 35 grams. You can also use sweet potatoes if you prefer. There's no need to peel the carrot, just give it a good scrub beforehand. Chop it into small pieces, then place in a pot. Cover with water and boil for 10 minutes or until the carrots are cooked and soft. Now let's add all our ingredients to a blender. First, our boiled carrots, then the soaked cashews. Next, add in 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast, half a teaspoon of mushroom seasoning, a 1/4 teaspoon of tapioca starch, 1/8 of a teaspoon of turmeric, 1 tablespoon of oil, 60 ml of water and 60 ml of oat milk. Once it's well blended, strain it through a sieve. The mix is quite thick, so we'll need to help it along by pushing it. If you don't want to strain the mix, that's absolutely fine too, but I feel like the end result won't be as smooth and convincing as the real egg yolk. Heat the mix on medium-low and stir constantly until it starts to thicken. Turn off the heat and set aside. It'll continue to thicken as it cools. You can play around a bit by adding some extra water or plant milk depending on how runny or how thick you'd like your vegan egg yolk to be. Now let's make some vegan egg whites. To replicate the texture of soft-boiled egg whites, we're going to use some silken tofu. Let's scoop half the tofu into a blender and blitz until it's super smooth and milky. Then pour into a pot. Let's add 125 ml or half a cup of water. Next, let's plop the remaining silken tofu. With our spatula, break the silken tofu up. This will create little curds that are very egg white-like in the final dish. To this mixture, we're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of mushroom seasoning. Let's cook it until it just starts to boil, then we're going to sprinkle in 1 teaspoon of tapioca starch all over. Unlike what we've done previously, don't stir it right away. Let it sit for a bit. This way, the tapioca starch will turn into little translucent clumps that really mimic semi-cooked egg whites. While waiting, give this video a like and don't forget to subscribe to see more recipes just like this one. After about 30 seconds, stir the starch through to thicken everything, then take it off the heat. Immediately scoop into our serving bowl. Blob some of the vegan egg yolk into it and then season with the classic duo of soy sauce and white pepper. And last but not least, to tie all the flavors together and give it that final eggy taste, we need a fresh sprinkling of black salt or kala namak. Serve this immediately with some toast and thick black coffee. I promise you, this recipe is amazing. It tastes so similar to the non-vegan one that I can't even begin to explain. Watch these videos next to see how I veganize some other Malaysian breakfasts and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching.